really deeply, and we almost went bankrupt. And that was due to actions of a few corrupt bankers. And these bankers were making investments with other people's retirement funds, and they lost these investments, and they created a debt that was supposed to be paid to banks abroad, namely IceSave in the UK. But well, these corrupt bankers were like playing poker with other people's retirement funds. Yeah, they didn't ask anyone for permission. So when it came time to pay back this debt, there was no money here in the country to pay it, and these corrupt bankers wanted people here in the country to pay back the debt for them, but no one was agreeing on it, and we just answered in the referendum, "No way, Jose," and instead we just jailed these corrupt bankers. And because we jailed these corrupt bankers, we were applauded in many parts around the world, because we were the first one to jail corrupt bankers. But because we did not pay back the debt to the IceSave, then we were subscribed to a list of terrorists. Yeah, the whole 377,000 of us, we were all subscribed to a list of terrorists. And well, we were in a lot of trouble. We did not know how we were going to recuperate from this crisis, and no one really wanted to come and visit Iceland, because here lived the terrorists, and so we were in a lot of trouble. We asked a few specialists to come together and find out solutions to recuperate from the crisis. So the first thing that they did was a big publicity to the whole world that here in Iceland we had the cheapest energy in Europe, and although that was not completely true, it worked out, and we attracted a lot of foreign investors who wanted to invest in the production of aluminium. And so we started to recuperate. We felt it that things were going a little bit better, and then just 1 year after the economic crisis we had a great eruption of volcano Eyjafjallajökull, and it is just on the other side of this mountain you see in front of us. So this volcano is very close to a glacier, and it even keeps a nice cap during the winter time, so it disguises as a glacier. And so when it has eruptions, it produces explosive eruptions. This means that the ash comes in contact with the ice, and all the ashes just go everywhere and are spread everywhere. And so all of this area here was covered in ashes all the way since we stopped in the last service station, and all the way to the Black Sand Beach. Everything was pitch black, you couldn't see absolutely anything. And these ashes were being blown towards south and east of Europe. And the specialists explained that the same ashes would be traveling the globe for many years. They would go up in the air, blown by the wind, then they would come down to the fields with the precipitation, they would dry in the fields and be dry with the sun, and then blown again by the wind somewhere else. So they were found to be, the ashes, they were found to be very harmful for the propellers of the aeroplanes. They were very, very fine, and they would destroy the propellers of the aeroplane. So everyone was advised not to fly any planes, and not even heads of states and presidents could fly any private planes. And this was the first time after the Second World War that this happened, that no one could fly any planes. And so there was many people stranded in airports, and these people were, they were getting fed up because their patience was finishing, their money was finishing, and they were frustrated. They just wanted to blame someone. Then all of a sudden they remembered oh yeah, this is happening in Iceland. That's the home of the terrorists. And so we were again in a lot of trouble, not knowing how to recuperate. So we asked these same specialists that had come together just 1 year before to do it again and find more solutions to recuperate from this crisis. And well, this area here, you remember I told you it was completely black, everything pitch black. We couldn't see the animals, we couldn't see each other, we could not even see a finger in front of the face because everything was covered in ashes, everything was pitch black. We had to be cleaning the surfaces in our 12-minute intervals to be able to see anything. So what these specialists did was very soon they started designing tours to come here to this area. And well, yes, we were charging people money to bring them here to show them absolutely nothing. Yeah, they couldn't see anything. So we started coming with more people here, and it became a little bit famous. But people started coming to Iceland just to come to see nothing at all and to see the area of the eruption. And we started recuperating very well. We started making crazy things from the ashes. We made chocolate and salt. We also made aftershaves and perfumes, and we even made home decorating items. And we started recuperating very well, and indeed so well that what happened is we changed ash into cash. Yes, and soon we were starting receiving 2.5 million people, and this is how the tourism industry grew to be one of the 3 main industries in Iceland. So you know that we have the production of aluminum, we have the tourism industry, and then the third biggest industry is the fisheries. And in just a few moments I'm going to show you the volcano I was speaking of, Eyjafjallajökull. It is, as I said, a volcano that disguises as a glacier during winter time. Well, the whole year round, because it kind of keeps always a little ice cap on top of it. And so if we look here between these two mountains, you will see part of the mountain in front of us has an ice cap, and that is Eyjafjallajökull volcano. Just on the right side of the road there's an exposition with a multimedia show, just teaching people how things were around here 11 years ago. And so just about now we are starting to be accompanied by a glacier, and that is Mýrdalsjökull glacier. And it looks pretty much like my left hand up here in the air. Looks like this. This is the glacier, and then when I stretch my fingers, these would be the outlets of the main glacier, and each outlet has its own glacier name. So we are going to walk on a glacier which is the westernmost outlet of the main glacier, and it's called Sólheimajökull. But don't despair if you cannot say the name, because we just call it Solo for short. Turf is the grass that grows on the first layer, people found out that if they were to cut the turf in pieces of 25 centimeters and position it in zigzag, then the walls and the ceilings of the homes would hold without falling with the weight of the precipitation and the wind and the snow. But many people could not afford to grow the turf, and they did not live by the sea, by the shore, where they could pick up the driftwood. So they had to find other solutions to house their families. And I have to tell you that a few families in Iceland over just 100 years ago, they still lived in caves. And there are a few of these caves here in the south coast where a few families used to live 100 years ago. I'm going to show you one or two of these caves to you, and just here around the corner on the left side there's a little cave that was transformed. It was restored, and so it's quite pretty. It has a beautiful entrance, and then it even has an exit on the other side of the rock, so it's pretty much like a villa. Here is one by this rock with a turf roof. And a bit ahead of us there's another rock there in the middle of the field. There's also a few caves there. Not as pretty as this one, but yeah, where people still used to live. Glitter lamps everywhere. Just born a few days ago. Most of them are born around May. So here you see the caves again, and one of them even has an aluminum roof, quite modern. Yeah, but our sheep have been roaming free in Iceland ever since they arrived here with the settlers around 874. And this is because we have a special system that allows us to mark the lambs when they are born, and then we let them go free and roam free the whole summer through. They go up to the mountains where they find this very tender and fresh vegetation. They graze on it, and then they get fat with a lot of wool on them. And when it starts getting a little bit colder at the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, then they will start coming by themselves down to the fields, and then it will be